Alright, we're back here in Tacoma, and the plot has thickened a wee bit. So, let me explain why that is. So, before I left last time, I was able to get the two robotic PTZ cameras on camera 1 and camera 2. I also got them on camera 1, camera 2 here on the controller. That's not an issue. What I'm not getting is output or input from the ProPresenter computer here, which is where it's supposed to go. And I'm using these Ocean Matrix HDMI over IP transmitter-receiver pairs. So the thought occurred to me, let's boot up the system out in the booth, and then take this camera monitor, which has HDMI in, plug it into the output of this guy. Guess what? It works. So the plot thickens because the data video switcher is now the culprit, in my opinion. Because if this monitor, which is not a native 1080 monitor, you know, it's like 1280 by 768 kind of thing. If that can scale it and display it, why is the data video not doing it? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and I'm going to put the HDMI cable on input 6, see if that works. Right now input 6 is for the iMac. So the idea is if I do get image on input 6, which I know is working, then, and I don't get image from the iMac on input 5, then I know input 5 is not working, and you know it needs to be replaced or repaired, and that'll be a warranty thing. If I do get image from the iMac on input 5 and I still don't get it on input 6, I'm still going to have to contact data video, because as far as I can tell, I put this, last time I was here, last week, I put this monitor on my scaler, and I went into the menu and I verified that it is indeed outputting 1080i60. So, and having the monitor here, connecting it to this this receiver unit for the IP transmission system, and I'm getting image, indicates that this transmission system is working, and it is happening. And it just seems like it's the data video product that's the problem. So I'm going to do that, and I will update you later. Alright, I got image from the iMac on input 5, so it's not the input. So what I've done, since I talked to you last, is I brought that little LCD monitor out here to the booth, and coming off of my scaler, I verified that indeed it is sending 1080i60. I just changed it to 1080p60 to see if that would make a difference, and it hasn't. So I'm going to change it back to 1080i60, and in theory, I should be able to tell pretty quickly whether it's going to work or not, because that yellow light should be going extremely quick. It should be flashing very, very quickly. So this is their scaler. This is the one that I brought in. And, you know, I'm not really sure this is going to be a good long-term solution. But, you know, when I had this monitor plugged in on the other end of this guy, that light was going like it should be. So it seems to be related to that data video. Like the data video is just not handshaking like it's supposed to. And I don't know why. At least it's not handshaking with this system. So I'm going to grab the HDMI here, plug it into my good friend Mr. Marshall, turn the power on, and I will show you, you know, we are getting signal. That's what's on the screens. So that's what I should be seeing. So I'll go back into the menu and change this to 1080i 60. Enter. The speaker goes crazy on this thing. Alright, so I press to confirm, and as you can see, I still have signal. And I'll even show you, if I can get it in, see, 1080i 60, right there. So this is my scalar menu, alright? So, that is, I mean, I don't know why it's not working. It seems to be related to something with the data video. So I will plug this back in, and I'll swing you around here. So as you can see, nothing happens with that. Same thing. So I'm gonna reset, and that should reset the handshake. So I'll take a couple seconds, and then it will probably go back to that slow flash. Yeah, see? So I'm kind of at a loss here as to what is going on with that data video and these Ocean Matrix devices that is causing this issue. So so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the monitor back, and I'll show you that indeed it is working when I plug this in instead of the switcher. Reading the manual on the switcher, the switcher is set to 1080i 60. So that's what it's expecting on the inputs. That's what I'm sending to it. So I'm not really sure why it doesn't like what I'm sending. So let me get this plugged in real quick. And then I will grab, oops, I pulled them both out. That was smart. Alright, so come over here. Alright, so I turn the monitor on. Alright, and it's just going to sit there until I hit this button down here. And then that will renegotiate. See, that flash is fast, and indeed I have signal. So we know it's not an HDCP issue. At least it shouldn't be, because the Mac is working on both inputs 5 and 6. It doesn't matter which one I choose. Okay, it's not an HDCP issue because that's my laptop. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this, plug it in out there in place of the scalar, and see if that will give me signal back here. I'm also going to unplug this and plug the cable back into the switcher. See if that works. Alright, so I just got off the phone with Data Video Support, and as expected, they were not much help. And I understand their point. I can connect directly to input 5 or 6 with my laptop via HDMI, and it works. I can connect into input 5 or 6 via the VGA to HDMI converter without a problem. So, but for some reason there's some issue with this this HDMI over IP system that the switcher doesn't like. So I'm going to go the route of terminating the SDI line that we ran, and I've got a VGA to SDI converter, so I'm going to try that route, and if that works, that's great. We'll leave it that way for now, with the understanding that it's not a long-term solution. So, because eventually they are going to get a third camera, or a fourth camera, and that's going to have to come in over that SDI input. So, which means we're back to the same issue of getting the signal from the computer there back here. But my hope is, it's going to be enough time between now and then that not only can we replace their scaler, but we can also update their computers, and maybe we can just go direct, HDMI direct from the computer instead of having to go through the scaler and all that. So that's what I'm going to be working on now. All right, so I feel kind of stupid. No, I didn't get it fixed. The VGA to SDI converter, I'm borrowing that from a friend just as a, let's see if it works. Well, the scaling options on it are 720p or 1080p. I need 1080i, and it cannot do that, so that's not going to work for us. So I'm coming back here one more time to see if I can get this thing to work, and it doesn't look like it's going to. So I'm going to try the VGA balance, whatever you want to call them, again. See if I can run them into this converter, which I know is working. See if we can get it that way. So there you can see that I have both the HDMI and the VGA plugged in. VGA is going to the VGA balun right there, or balun, whatever you want to call it, and the HDMI is going to the monitor here, just to verify that I am getting signal. So now I'm going to take the monitor with me, and I'm going to go back to the booth, see if I can get signal out of the VGA to HDMI converter, which is what the other end of the balun is plugged into, on the monitor. If I do, then we'll see if we're getting it into the switcher. Okay, this is what we're getting. So you can see that there is an image up there. So I'm going to try power cycling this guy and see what happens. I'm going to put you down here for a second. Alright, this is the test. Okay. Huh. I have an idea. So the switcher is set to 1080i 60, and that is what the scaler is sending out. However, what I'm wondering is if the switcher is actually expecting 5994. So I'm going to set the scaler to that, and we'll see if it takes care of that. Because if it does, that might mean that I can get the HDMI thing working, which means they can have both the iMac and the ProPresenter inputs working. So, bear with me here. I'm going to plug in the monitor to power. I'm going to plug it in here. Alright, so we boot that up. And that should pop onto that screen. Good. Alright, so I'm going to attempt to navigate the menu here with you guys along for the ride here. So you can see that I'm going between the options here. I don't know if I have a 1080i 5994 option, and it doesn't look like it, which is annoying. Just out of curiosity, let's set it to 1080p 60. Then I'll have to confirm it here. Okay. So that little monitor for Marshall is pretty amazing. It doesn't really matter what I send to it. It seems to be able to scale and accept it. It would be nice if the switcher was able to do that, but then it wouldn't be a sub $2,000 switcher. You know, having not only frame syncs, but being able to have scaling on each input, on any input, is going to cause a problem. So that's what we're getting with 1080p. But that's closer than what we were at. So here we go again. Just like the first week I was here, I'm going to have to go through setting by setting by setting, see if I can find one that's common that the switcher likes. I tell you, this is a real bear. Well, I told you I was going to update you. So, I came up with an idea. Hey man, how's it going? So my idea was that, why not, it was clear that the VGA balins were working. They were trying to get an image back here, but we had a resolution mismatch. So I said, why not bring the scaler, my scaler, back into the video booth, and we'll do the scaling here. Well, guess what? It worked. Yes. So, it's working, and as you can see, if I punch up 6, we can have the iMac, oops, and we can have the ProPresenter. That is awesome. But this is a major step forward. I'm really excited about it. I'm going to get that mounted. Looks like the Teradek has updated its firmware, and it's ready to go. So, I'm just going to wait for the pastor to get back with an SD card, if he can pick one up. If not, they're going to have to kind of deal with that on their own. So, here we go. Okay, sorry. Okay, so, update. It's working. I think where I left you was I was going to put the scaler in. So I've got it in. It is functioning, as you can see there. And I'm just going to leave it here, and we're going to work out the financial stuff later. The second issue we were having is the Video Pro, for whatever reason, was giving us both recording and live stream with just really screwed up images. Really dark camera images, and then the computer inputs, we had like double images and and like dark bars or bands through them. So it was really annoying. So I went through a whole bunch of different things, and it occurred to me, well, let's just reboot the Teradek, the video, and that seems to have solved the issue. Alright, so I just pulled into the church parking lot, and I'm about 15 minutes early for the meeting. I'm not going to take you with me into the meeting just because, you know, they don't know I have a YouTube channel and be a little weird. Here, let me videotape. You don't know me. We're just getting to know each other, but I'm going to put you in front of the world. So, but I'm going to give you a rundown of items, areas, systems that they want to kind of talk about upgrading and focus on. Wow. It's 10 to 10 right now. That was a very long meeting, but it was a good one. So, just a really, really quick summary for you. Their video system is going to have to be completely ripped out. Bar none, just everything gone. Whether we do that all at once or whether we do that in phases, still not sure, but you know, there's certain pieces that you have to buy together if you're going to upgrade a system, otherwise it's not going to work. It sounds like it's mostly fixing connections and making sure that the audio system is functioning at its maximum potential. There is some discussion that will be ongoing about replacing the speakers, but my suggestion is they have Mackeys right now, but they're elevated and they're pointed, you know, they're not tilted down towards the audience. They're just pointed at the balcony. So I suggested that they tilt them down first and get the best sound possible before we talk about replacing them. Lighting is going to be quite a bit down the road, but it is something that they're interested in dealing with. They currently have a collection of lights, some very interesting ones. They look like par cans, but they have shutters in the barrels, so I'm not sure if they're technically ellipsoidals or what. So, but they have decent coverage, so my suggestion was, you know, let's refocus the lights and get the best that we can get now, with the idea that we are going to upgrade them in the future. There's ongoing discussion about the projector and the screen. Are we going to just replace, or are we going to supplement? Are we going to do 2 smaller screens, 1 center large screen? That's an ongoing discussion. And there's a lot of audio distribution that needs to be dealt with. A lot of speakers that are not working. The amplifiers that drive the speakers throughout the facility are mounted in a custom enclosure that is mounted above a drop ceiling, below the sanctuary floor. So that is going to change pretty quickly. So that is the very brief summary of my meeting here at Emerald City Adventist Church in Seattle. I am going to be headed home, going to fill up gas, get something to eat, and get out of here. Thanks for watching.
They're recording audio.
No wiggle at all.
How much is this? $2,500?
Something like that.
There you go. I have my bazooka cannon.